All right, students, if you are watching this video over Thanksgiving break, I'm very proud of you for trying to better yourself while you're on a vacation. This assignment was operations with rational numbers, so we have a mix of a decimal number and a mixed number, or a decimal number and a fraction. These are all mixed numbers though. And I just went ahead and wrote down these. I'm not going to solve them from beginning to end, but I am going to show you how to convert the fractions to decimals and then help you set up the problem, and then you can take it from there. If you're not sure how to solve one of these, you don't remember the steps for adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing, then go back and watch one of the other videos that goes more in depth into those steps. So the first problem says 72 and 59 hundredths plus 4 and 11 twentieths. Now, whenever you're converting a fraction to a decimal, you do have two ways of solving it most of the time. Long division always works, and I do see some of y'all using long division every time. But for me personally, if I can turn the bottom number into a 10, a 100, or a 1000, then I'm going to do that, because then whatever my top number is what's going to be behind the decimal. So for instance, in this case, I know that if I have 5 $20 bills, I have $100. So if I do 20 times 5, I'm going to get 100. Remember that if I multiply the denominator by something, I'm going to have to multiply the numerator by the same amount, which 11 times 5 is 55. So now I can take this 4 and 55 hundredths and put that as a decimal. Super easy, because this 100 is going to go away, and this number right here, my numerator, is just going to be what's behind the decimal. And that's not always a perfect system, but most of the time it is. So now we're going to have 72 and 59 hundredths, plus we're going to take this number and make our decimals line up. And remember, we write addition problems vertically. We also do that with subtraction problems. And we're going to do that with the multiplication problem too. So all of these problems, when you rewrite them, you can solve them a lot better if you solve them vertically. Okay, but that's how you'll set that one up. From there, it's very easy. Okay. Next problem, we have 12 and 3/10 minus 8 and 2/10. Here we have a 10 on the bottom, which means that the only thing that's going to be behind the decimal is this number right here. So it's very easy to convert. So that's 12 and 3/10 minus 8 and 2/10. And then you can solve it just like a normal subtraction problem. Don't forget to bring your decimal straight down. Okay. Number 3, we have 5 and 4 hundredths. So this would look like, as a mixed number, there would be a 5 in front of your fraction, and then you would have 4 on top of 100. This is one where if you don't know your place value very well, you would have some trouble converting the fraction back to a decimal. But regardless, this is 5 and 4 hundredths times 3 and 1/4. Now, we've talked a lot about quarters in class. If I have 4 quarters, I have $1. Okay, and each quarter is worth 25 cents. So I know that if I do 4 times 25, I'm going to get 100. Okay, which means I'm also going to have to do 1 times 25. So that's going to be 3 and 25 hundredths, which is 3.25. Okay, also 1/4 is one of those that you're supposed to have memorized. You really should know at this point that if you have 1/4, that's going to be 0.25 behind your decimal. But that's why it's 0.25, because that's how you convert that. So then when I multiply, I like to get rid of the decimal. So I'm going to write this down as 504 times 325. And then you're going to multiply like normal, every digit by every digit. Don't forget your placeholders. And then add it all up. And then how many numbers are behind the decimal in your problem are how many numbers need to be behind the decimal in your answer. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So in your answer, you should have 4 numbers behind the decimal. If you don't remember how to do that, go back and watch multiplying decimals. Okay. 3 and 1/5. Now, eventually you'll get to the point where you do fifths so much that you'll have those memorized, but you can just turn those into something with a 10 on the bottom just as easy. 5 times 2 gives me 10, which means I need to do 1 times 2, which is 2 tenths, which is 2 tenths. Okay. Since this number's first, it's going to be what goes in our division bracket. And then this number is going to go on the outside. Remember that when you're dividing, the divisor decimal goes all the way to the right. The dividend decimal copies what the divisor did. So if this one moves once, this one moves once. Okay, so now the problem is actually 4 divided by 32, which you should know your 4s well enough to know how many 4s make 32. So that one should be super easy. Okay, that's how you work those 4 problems. Good luck.